Hello, Ryan Dahl here with PraiseCharts Live. I'm a little freaked out right now because I'm going to be interviewing not just one person, but four people. I can already tell there's a lot of personality going on around the screen here. These guys are like living legends. The band Avalon, we've heard their songs for so many years. More than 20 years, these songs have been flowing through radio and tour and all of that. And now there's a new face to this group with Avalon Worship. It's a great fit into PraiseCharts. And so we're going to meet these guys. I don't know. I think I'm just going to sort of press go and let them, do their thing. They're quite the group together. So here we go. Avalon Worship. Let's try this out. Oh my goodness. Woo-hoo! Look at all these people on the screen. Okay, so we got someone's in a music studio, someone has no office, so they're in the foyer of their house, looks like. And then Dani in the closet. Dani, I think we got to start with you, Dani. How did you end up in the closet? It just seems like the most, how did that happen?
So my actual studio is in my closet because we only have 3 bedrooms and I have 3 children and none of them demanded their own room.
Yes.
So
go figure.
Here we are.
Here you are.
In the closet.
Well, it's beautiful. It's beautiful. You got the nice flowing curtains in behind. And Jody, are you really in the foyer, or is it like the office that backs into the foyer? I mean, it looks.
No, I'm actually sitting in my dining room. So
all right.
Behind me is that's the entrance to the house. But yes, I don't have an office in this house.
No,
it's but it's cozy. I like it. Feels like I'm home. So.
Yeah. And Greg and Janna together as one. You were almost going to try wearing the same headphones, but that didn't quite work. So, and did their screen freeze? Hopefully they come through okay. Where are you guys? You guys right at the piano? Are we going to sit down and play some songs together? Is that what we're going to do? Oh, look at this.
There's the piano.
We have a baby grand that needs a lot of work, so you may not want to hear it.
Oh.
But yes, it's in a front room in our house. We have 3 daughters, and they all have had to take piano lessons. And I play, Greg plays a little, so that is the room we're in.
Yeah. Were any songs that we know written on that little piano right behind you there? Is that like where they get, little melodies? Oh no, that's not where it happens.
Oh, no.
Because the songs we write, we like to be in tune. So we don't write those.
I mean, we may have come up with some ideas. Nothing that we've done with that.
Yeah, there's a couple songs one of the songs in the record. I probably messed around with it here, but no, not nothing original in this record. So
yeah,
it's pretty. It just doesn't sound good.
Yeah. Well, I feel like I'm clearly the outsider here, in on this community. You guys spend so much time together, and some of you have been around with Avalon for a long time. Some are a little newer. I don't know how to do this. How do you do okay, let's do this. I'm just kind of shooting from the hip here, but Jody, I can tell you're a little bit of a spitfire there. You've got some personality. So why don't you tell me a little bit about, let's start with Greg and Janna. What's the first thing that comes to your head when you think of Greg and Janna? What happens to the room when they show up?
Well, since, Janna is the matriarch of the group, we all stand at attention when she walks in the room.
Oh, yeah.
No. Listen, Greg and Janna, Janna and I have been traveling together. We are the 2 quote unquote original. Yeah. We're the OG Avalon peeps. And then when Janna got married to Greg, he landed in the group somehow. I think maybe a little out of obligation because he was married to Janna, but I think it ended up just being the right fit for him too. And honestly, I really can't imagine Avalon without either one of them. I mean, it's just, and they're, I told Greg this the other day, and I said something about this about both of them, but they are everything that they are on stage and off. There's no difference. They are really wonderful, kind people. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And sometimes people they have a persona, you know what I mean? Yeah. But that's not who Janna and Greg are. They're just the real deal. And so that makes it very nice to travel with.
Beautiful. Okay, Dani, so now you get to go up the screen. What about Jody? What happens to the room? There we go. We're playing like Hollywood Squares here. So what happens in the room when Jody shows up?
When you walk into the room, everything changes. No, Jody is a light to the room, man. Like, I don't know if you've ever heard him sing. You probably have.
Yes.
But besides his incredible singing voice, he is like so funny. Like just so funny. Filled with jokes all the time and can make you laugh all the time. And I love that. I love that about you, Jody.
Yeah, beautiful. You got to have some humor to last on the road. Okay, Greg, what you got there?
Well, I was going to tell you this is some behind the scenes stuff, but literally, so Janna and I kind of discovered Dani for Avalon. We're the ones that found her because she was a worship leader, one of the contract worship leaders at the church that we were on staff at. And here we go. Hi. And when we asked her to be in Avalon, the first time she met Jody McBrayer was literally at the photo shoot for her first record. Like, had never met in person before.
Yeah.
And the two of them, Jody and Dani, it was like chemistry, like boom. It was like they were friends it was really quite something. So yeah, that was a lot of fun.
Beautiful.
Like, like to meet each other and be like, hi, we're taking pictures together for an album. And it worked. And
there you are. Yeah. There you are. Well, hey, I just want you all to know, I actually saw you in person. You probably don't remember me, but it was in Nashville in January at a choral music conference. You guys remember being at ChristCharts there?
Yes.
So I was there in person with the Avalon. I heard you
so sick.
You were sick?
Yeah, you were.
Oh my gosh, I was so sick. Like, I literally came in, and we were also, some of us were wearing masks at that point anyway.
Yeah.
But I remember it was such an important thing for us to do because it was the first time that we really had sung anything from the Avalon Worship project.
Yeah.
So I had to be there. I could not come. But I'm pretty sure driving there, I took my temperature and it was 103.
Oh boy.
I was so sick that night. But honestly, God helped us because it ended up being a really good night.
Yeah. Beautiful. It was great. And in such a kind of legendary location too. I think it was at ChristCharts in Nashville, and so much great music has come out of there. Well, and just Greg and Janna, I wanted to hear a little bit from you about, I remember in Nashville, you guys were sort of dropping hits a little bit about just raising kids and, kids going through university and just like that life. We're probably in a similar era of life. So how old are your kids? I'm assuming you guys have kids, right? Because three kids.
Three girls.
All right.
One just turned 18.
Yeah.
One is 15 and one is 12. And this has actually been a monumental month for us because our oldest turned 18. She had her senior prom. She just graduated from high school. It was her birthday. Did I already say that? Yes, I did. And it was our anniversary, and it was Mother's Day. So we literally have just not stopped this month.
So Janna goes, honey, because we were traveling, we come back. It's our anniversary falls, but we're only home. We're like with our girls for 2 days. Our 15-year-old says, I want to go to McDonald's. Janna goes, honey, I am not having my anniversary dinner at McDonald's. About an hour later, guess where we had our anniversary dinner?
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Lord. Taking our 15-year-old to McDonald's.
Yeah.
That is classy.
Classic.
Should have
done Taco Bell.
Well, you know what? One of my goals was I just wanted to find the real people behind Avalon, and I think we're really starting to touch on that now. If you're having anniversary dinners at McDonald's, anybody can relate to you now. So thank you for that. That's awesome.
Very first class for sure.
Yeah. Well, okay, so let's talk a little bit about Avalon Worship. We'll kind of go around with a number of you just talking about this kind of new season for Avalon, and just try to get a sense of, where you've come and kind of where you're going, what your vision is for the future. So I'm gonna go around here, but Jody, back to you. This is kind of a question I just want to ask you to start this. Is like, describe to me the moments you have in ministry, whether it's like what you're singing or playing or touring or whatever it is, when you're kind of pinching yourself going, am I really doing this? Like, is this what I get to do with my life? I don't know. We all have those moments, but I kind of want to get a little bit of a sense of that from all of you. What's the moment? What's the picture? What does it look like when you're just going, I can't believe I get to do this? Do you have a thought, Jody?
Yeah, I definitely think it is. It is those worship moments. It's those moments when, can you hear me?
Yep, I can.
Okay, just to make sure. It's those moments when, you're sometimes on the platform, sometimes you're standing down closer to the audience or whatever, but it's those moments when, honestly, the Holy Spirit shows up.
Yeah.
And you can feel the presence of God. It's just so thick in the room, and you start to realize that this isn't even about us anymore. Like this is just about bringing people into the presence of God so that real change can take place in their lives. And for me, and it's definitely changed. I mean, I'm 52 years old, and I don't mind saying that. I'm proud of my 52 years.
Me too.
But yeah, are you 52?
Yeah, turning 52 next week.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
I turn it in June. But, when I was 32 years old, I would have given you a completely different answer,
Yeah.
But with the life that I've lived over the last 20 years, the life that a lot of us have lived, I think my perspective is completely different now. And I crave those moments of just being in God's presence. And I crave those moments of feeling him so close to me that sometimes I have to put the mic down and just let the congregation worship.
Yeah.
And when tears fill my eyes, I'm like, this is what it's all about.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. I can feel it and see that moment. Dani, just remind me, Dani, how long have you been with Avalon? Because you were joking that it was just say it again. So
Wednesday. I've been here since Wednesday.
Every time I ask that question, I get a different answer. So
give the poor guy the right answer.
No, I've been with Avalon since August of 2018.
2018. Okay, so I just kind of wanted to say, I want you to answer the same question because I want to know this part of you too, but just it could be part of Avalon or even before then or, in your general ministry life, but I just want to know when that light and fire and passion kind of turns on for you.
Yeah, I think whenever it comes to worship and worship music, for me, because my life is basically chaos the majority of the time, it's nice to be able to just focus and be present.
Yeah.
And I think worship allows us to be present, not only with ourselves, but with God and with the people around us as well, because we're all collectively doing the same thing together. And I think that's beautiful. And especially like with what we've just gone through in the last 2/3 years, essentially a collective trauma as a global entity, if you will, being able to gather together again is just so mind-blowing to me because there was such an uncertainty for so long as to whether or not we were going to be able to do that. And so I'm blown away by
Beautiful.
Just being able to be in the presence of God in that with other people as well.
Awesome.
So
Greg and Janna, as I'm like, as we're starting to go around now, it's starting to make sense why Avalon is moving towards Avalon Worship. It seems to be a very natural core. So let's just start with Greg. What excites you about this new direction that Avalon is? Is it new, or maybe it's just it always was there, but now you're just saying it? What is this new phase, new season of Avalon? What excites you about that?
Well, I tell you what I love, and that is, I'll tell you what I love, and that is what worship really is. Because when we get, and I've seen this so many times, we have to be so careful as worship leaders. Jan and I have been staff worship leaders. We were staff worship leaders for 11 years.
Yeah.
At a local church. And the thing we have to be careful of, so I'm going to give you that cautionary thing first, is that we don't worship, right?
Yeah.
I can get so excited about worship when really there are three things that I should be excited about in worship. The first one is Jesus. The second one is Jesus. And guess what the third one is?
I'm trying to guess.
It's Jesus. Yeah, you're right on it, right? I can tell. It is Jesus. It is him. It's the guy who was God and man, came to die on the cross, and lets us have relationship with him. So Jody touched on it, Dani touched on it. We're big on getting together. I mean, I think our next time together, Avalon Worship together, is at the end of June. I can't wait. We love gathering together and being able to lift him up, and the Holy Spirit, the Spirit of God, the Spirit of Christ, somehow manifests in the room. You know he's there. You sense he's there. And all of us, I love what Jody said. Real change can happen. We've seen it. We've experienced it. And we look forward to it every time. And then you get to the place where you expect it. And I was telling somebody last week where we were leading worship, Janna and I, guest worship leading, I said, think about the lady who was fighting through the crowd, had seen all kinds of doctors, right? For her, it was called an issue of blood. She said, if I can just touch the hem of his garment, like there's his, whatever they wore back then, these robish type things or whatever, right? If I could just touch that, I know I will be made whole.
Yeah.
The beauty of when Christ died and rose again, his Spirit now is with us. We have that ability to come in contact with Jesus.
Yeah.
And it doesn't get much better than that.
Yeah. Beautiful. Okay, Janna, I have a question for you. This might be a little more challenging, but I wanted to kind of get a sense of the more tender or the challenging side of this ministry that you have been in. You pointing at someone? Oh, yeah. He's the challenging side, but tender. Okay. No, but I was like, what are the moments in the last couple of years that you've been like, oh man, this is hard, or this is rough? I don't know. I just want to tap into a little bit of that side. I know we love worship. We have a vision for it. It's beautiful when all hands are in the air and everything. But what about the times when it's like, oh man, can I make it another day? Can you give me a bit of sense of that?
Yeah, I think there have been a lot of those for all of us.
Yeah.
Danny touched on it. But, raising 3 daughters and, you had the pandemic happen and all of a sudden they were cut off from church for a number of months and from their friends. And honestly, walking through some very difficult things with them that I never as a parent thought I would have dealt with years ago, even 3-4 years ago. And just really feeling the sense of, this is a daunting task. I don't know what's going on in the world. And yet, my kids are struggling. What is it going to look like for us as an artist? Shows were being canceled. We had just made a new record. We were 6 dates into a tour and then, everything shut down. And I think many moments of just feeling like I don't know how to walk through this because there's so much uncertainty in life. But I think walking it out with my kids has been one of the hardest things. And, God has brought all of us through very difficult days. And thankfully, in a lot of ways, they're doing much better. But some of their struggles, as a parent, they say you're only as happy as your unhappiest kid. And I very much found that to be true.
Yeah.
If they're struggling, then I struggle and then he struggles. It doesn't matter how well things are going for your career or this or that. If they're not doing well, then I'm not doing well.
Yeah.
And the flip side of that is if they're thriving, then I can make do whatever I have to make things work. Because when they were younger and we were on the road and they were babies, I would often say about the people taking care of them, like, I can't really do my work on stage effectively if I don't feel like they are in good hands.
Yeah.
And but if they are, then, we let's go, we can do anything. But just really, really walking side by side with them the past few years, some of their struggle and, just to touch on the history, I was just overwhelmed, I think, the past few weeks of, man, how blessed am I that I still get to do this, to still be making records, to still be a small part of the kingdom and to be touching lives. I'm just so blessed. And it comes from a place of such gratefulness that I just still get to be in the room and do this and do what I love. And, it's all about him. He doesn't need any of us. He he doesn't need my talents or my gifts or anyone else's, but to still be doing this is such a humbling thing. And I feel so grateful to even to get to talk with you today, like to do what I love and to proclaim the goodness of Christ. I mean, how blessed are we? That's just really what I've been with lately.
Yeah. Amen. Beautiful. Dani, when you were just talking before, you were saying that the rest of your life feels like chaos, and then you get into your little closet and it looks very ordered in the 3x3 little room that you're in. But Janna, like when you were sharing about some of the challenges, a thought came to my head. I don't know if this is true. I'm just going to try this out, but that worship kind of makes sense to me when it's set against the backdrop of the reality of our lives. It's like when you put, something bright and white and beautiful against a background that looks real and authentic, it just makes sense. There's a contrast. And that's why I'm interested. I'm always interested. I want to know the fun, the playful, the banter, the great times. But it's like, let's also remember we're human beings, and and people want to know that, because then they're going to trust you when you're on stage leading them in worship, and you're going to have those moments like what Jody described, where people's barriers are going to break down. So I want to see that. Like, that's the ministry I like to be a part of. But Dani, just kind of down to you, down to the bottom right corner is chaos and, whatever. I mean, people identify with that. So just tell us how it really is.
Okay, if you're ready for it.
I am. Brace myself.
So I have 3 kids.
Yeah.
On ages 9, 7, and 4.
Yeah.
And we are in the thick of it. My 4-year-old is about to go to kindergarten, and my 9-year-old is about to go to middle school, which is insane.
Yeah.
I have been, over the past however long that I think all of these guys have known me, I've been in school. So I got my bachelor's degree in December of 2020, and now I will have my master's degree in August. So a lot of my time is spent just doing homework pretty much all the time. That's really so.
But that's why she uses bigger words than the rest of us.
Yeah, I see that.
So we'll be flying to a date. We'll go play somewhere, and I'm like, hold on, guys, I got to submit my paper real quick. Hold on. It's 6 a.m. I have to get it done.
You're kidding. Wow.
So I took 5 classes this past semester because we were just kind of in a waiting period, and I was like, this is the time to get as much done as I possibly can. And somehow I got through with almost all A's and 1 B. So it's just, congrats for that.
Beautiful.
Well,
you know what? If people can't identify with that, I don't know what they can, because this is the life we're in. I just sent my son off to college this morning, and he's got 2 massive exams. And Janna, what you were saying about how, we feel the pain of whatever kid is going through the pain is like, that's what I was carrying when I came to the office this morning. It's just that gulp in my throat of, man, I hope he makes it. Because he's studying, engineering, kind of deep math, and he's just trying to make it. Please, God. And he's getting married in a month or so. So it's just that's life. And if it's not happened to me, if it's happening to my kid, but I carry that, so I get that. Okay.
And you
go ahead.
I was just going to say, you pray that they, what you found to be true in your relationship with the Lord, you pray that they will find that same experience. Life's not always good, or I shouldn't say that. It's not always easy. Yeah. But God is faithful, and I pray that they're seeing the ways that He's been so faithful to me, and He will do the same for them. It's not always easy, and it's not always mountaintops. Actually, more times than not, it isn't a mountaintop. We live in the valley, but boy, God, again, has been so good and has brought us through. And I want them to learn that experience for themselves.
Yeah, beautiful. Okay, so last about 5 or 7 minutes here as we are sharing together, I want to talk specifically about the Avalon album. Now, I actually have it on PraiseCharts. I'm going to show it here, scan you through just to remind you, but I'd like each of you to sort of like pick a song, and if someone else has picked it, you're going to have to pick another one, but just take us inside of a song. I know a lot of these are not songs you've written. They're songs we've all come to know and love. And it's like we have this worldwide worship culture that is evolving, and we've all got our own stories of when we heard that or led that, and it just becomes like the vocabulary of the church, right? And you have picked some of the great worship songs of this time. So, Greg, I'm going to start with you. So here's like your cheat sheet. This is on PraiseCharts live today, Avalon Worship. We've got almost all the songs. There might be one missing. But yeah, there you go.
Looks like they're all there.
Anyways, right now we've just got the chord charts, but we went and kind of made them just match your arrangements exactly, and kind of took the time, listened to it. So there you go. Greg's got the glasses.
Greg,
Greg, take us in.
I get to go first.
Yeah.
I'll pick one of the ones that I did happen to write on, and we talked about this earlier. We talked about the experience of worship and what do you look forward to. This particular writing session was in Nashville, and the record label, my publishing company there, had 3 appointments a day, meaning I'm co-writing like 3 times in one day with 3 different sets of people.
Yeah.
At some point, your creativity just kind of like, I'm just tired, So I think it was my 3rd appointment of that particular day. I sit down. Thankfully, it was with 2 people that I've written with a lot, and Don Cook and Dave Clark. And we sit in the room. We're just catching up as friends. And then somebody said, Greg, do you have anything? Because they first of all looked to the artist. The artist has something on their heart.
Right.
And I was like, me heart, she's empty. Like, I have no more words. And so then I think I literally just said, guys, can we just pray, because I want to write something today with you. And so we prayed. I said, and I basically in my prayer said something like, Lord, we just want you here with us. We want you in this room, this little, about the size of this room where the 3 of us are gathered. Please come here and be with us, and let's see what happens, Lord. And so God met with us. And the last line of the verses says kind of what we were experiencing. It says, we're fine to come here empty, which is what I was feeling. The next line is, as long as we leave with you. The song is called Here.
Yeah.
And so that song became it came from a very honest place for me. That is exactly what was happening that day, and so we need him all the time, but that was a special day. And for me, a song that obviously I communicate from a very authentic place, I guess.
Beautiful. I actually thank you for sharing that. Even just going into a writing session and saying my heart is empty is like, oh yeah, you're not the only one. So
can I add something?
Yeah.
I want to add something personal here, and this is from all 4 of them. The guy that I wrote that, he may be watching right now. One of the guys I wrote that with is our head of A&R at the label, and produced this record.
Yeah.
And his name is Don Cook. He is a legend, a living legend in Christian music. His list of accolades and songs are unbelievable. I've known him for about 25 years, and Don's going through cancer right now in the last 2 years. And so when we say we want him here, we wrote that song with Don. Don wants him also there. Like, we're praying and believing for healing for you, Don. And if anybody's watching, add the name Don to your prayer list, because it's real. That's real life. And we believe in a God that can heal, a God that can do miracles. What's that song? I believe in you. I believe you're the God of miracles. Yeah. And so we trust in that for Don. Now, I'm sorry to have to bring that out, but Don is this record would not be here without Don Cook.
Well, I'm like looking on PraiseCharts right now, and I see that he's got his hands over so many songs. There's just a long list of songs that he's been writing on. So beautiful. Well, I'm going to come back around to all of you, but Jody, just popping up to you. Is there a song that is a standout for you? Can you think of one? There's only been one taken so far, so.
No, there are so many, and I hesitate to take this one because Janna leads out on it, which is a switch because, and she talked about it. We did a little interview thing, and she talked about it. But this song in particular, in listening to the recording project over the weekend, this is a song that I've sung the song "Rattle" a million times.
Oh yeah,
you know. But I think in particular, like what Greg was talking about, we came in empty. I think going through some of the things that we've gone through personally with my family, and then even I can speak for the rest of us. The song, the part of the song that says, "This is the sound of dry bones rattling."
Yeah.
I know what it feels like to have dry bones. I know what it feels like to feel like you have nothing, no energy, nothing to give. And then you come into the presence of God, you begin to worship, even sometimes if it's a sacrifice of praise, you're like, I don't feel like this. I don't feel like, and I have to say, I log on to PraiseCharts every week. I tell these guys all the time, I log on every week
really?
to find music. And charts for my church,
Yeah.
And there's sometimes when I log on and I'm like, okay, I'm just going to log on and see if anything moves me this weekend,
Yeah.
And because you guys, the way you have it laid out, I'm being honest, the way you have it laid out, it is so inspiring for us as worship pastors. Let's take the artist thing out of it for a second.
Yeah.
Because sometimes I just go and I'm literally empty. And I'm like, I do not know. And so I think Rattle is for me, where I've been, my bones have been dry. My spirit's been dry. I know that God is working. I know he's doing something because that's who he is, and he will always be that way.
Yeah.
But obviously, for whatever reason, I've allowed myself to be pulled back. And that song this weekend, just in hearing Janna sing it, and even the first line, "Saturday was silent, surely it was through. But since when has impossible ever stopped you?" And I constantly have to think that. And it brought life to my dry bones this week.
I do. I remember you guys singing it in Nashville, and it's a beautiful moment. Love it. I love that kind of theme. I'm just hearing a little bit of like, we all experience dryness and can identify and kind of relate to that, and how worship just can pull us through and direct us. So love that. Dani, is there a song that you're thinking of? Something's behind that smile of yours.
Yeah, for me, I think it's The Blessing. I always come back to The Blessing because I feel like, piggybacking off of what I was saying earlier about, the pandemic and everything, I think a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people lost income. A lot of people have still struggling with just, where do we go next? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
And that song to me is just this, how do I word this properly?
Yeah.
I don't even know. It's just this outward, like, hey, we believe that God is going to bless you.
Yeah.
And, definitively. So it's just, I don't know, that song brought me through the pandemic, and really hits home, I guess. It
is kind of like, it's almost like it's the song of the pandemic, because it hit on March of 2020. I remember in PraiseCharts, I was like Instagramming with Cody Carnes, had just been to our city, and Carrie Job got trapped in a hotel or in an airport somewhere in California, and Cody's there by himself, and he's like, "Hey, I just tried this new song. We just wrote it, and whatever." So we all have our story of when we heard The Blessing. But then, in PraiseCharts, I was saying to Cody, I've never seen a song like Grab On like this. It was just an eruption, and it was the convergence of all that was happening in the world and those words that were needed. So.
I think it was a reminder, to piggyback on what Dani, it was a reminder to us that God hadn't forgotten us.
Yeah.
That he will bless us and keep us. His face does shine upon us. And he is gracious to us every day. And I think that's what, for me, the pandemic was such a dark place.
Yeah.
And so that song was just a way of going, you're still here, your light is still shining, and I'm so grateful for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Really good. And I feel like as a band, when you sing that, it's like you're ministering to people because together you are singing that over people, right? It's just be so powerful. So, Janna, just coming back around to you, the legend of Avalon. You were there from the beginning. So you have somehow held this together, and here you are going. What's a song that is from your project that resonates with you?
Well, there are several.
You can have as many as you want. So there you go.
I would only add to everything that's already been echoed, but I would say for the past 18 months, Greg and I have been in a place, just a lot of struggles. Not. I don't mean like marriage. I mean like life, job, kids.
Yeah.
And I remember probably October. Let's see, the pandemic was March. October, November of 2020, we were going through just some changes, job and ministry and moving ahead. And the theme that God continued to put in front of us, be it a podcast or a sermon, we went to a local church here in Houston, and it was one of those moments where the pastor was preaching, and I look over at him, and he looks over at me, and we squeeze hands. And when Graves in the Garden talks about, I'll try not to tear up while I'm talking about it, but there comes that point in life for all of us where, like the children of Israel, you get to the sea, you can't go forward, can't go backwards. And literally I got to put my feet in and I don't know what's going to happen. Mm-hmm. And the song says he turned seas into highways. Mm-hmm. And I remember that day in the service squeezing his hand, and it was like, God, I don't know how you're going to make a way out of this. Because again, I can't go back. I can't go forward. But that's what you do. You part waters. You bring life to bones. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, my mascara is going to start running. But I've experienced those moments in the past 18 months. And I don't know how he does it. But he makes a way where there isn't a way. Mm-hmm. And he has done that for Greg and I, and he's done that for our family. So when I sing that lyric, you turn seas into highways. Somehow, you part the waters, and you make a way as only you can do.
Mm-hmm. Hey, this is the old worship pastor stepping in. Honey, can you say a prayer? Because somebody's watching right now. This could be an archive 2 years from now.
Yeah.
Okay. But somebody's watching this, whatever day it is, whatever night it is, could be with some of our worship pastor friends. Yeah. Because a lot of us have dealt with stuff like this. Baby, would you say a prayer for anybody watching who feels like that's where they are? Like the sea is ahead of me. There's an army behind me. I don't know where to go.
All right. Let's do it.
Yeah. So God, I ask that you would do for others what I know you've done for me, you've done for Greg, and Lord, where there seems to be no way, where there seems to be no answer, God, where there seems to be no good report, I just ask that you would go and do what only you can do, God. I think of the song that says, "Do what you are famous for, God. Do what only you can do. Make a way where there is no way, God." I pray that you would give hope today, that you would give strength for those that are listening or watching, God, that feel like they just don't see how they're going to make it another day, Lord. I pray that you would show them that step in front of them, and that you would part the seas, whatever that means, Lord, for healing, for financial prosperity, God, for those that feel like they've lost their kids to whatever, Lord, give them hope today. And God, make ways, part the seas, God, in a way that only you can do. We've seen what you've done for us, Lord, and we know that you're no respecter of persons. So go and do that for all that are listening and watching, and we'll give you the glory, Lord. We give you the glory for all that you've done and all that you're going to do. In Jesus' name.
Amen. Beautiful. Wow. Well, I have to say, I was a bit freaked out at the thought of interviewing a full band, but you have taken us in some great places and really demonstrated the community among you. And I love that, like, just for everyone to know, it's not like you have written all of these songs. You've written a couple of the songs, but you're like carrying the songs that have become so meaningful to so many of us. And you are worship leaders at heart. These are songs that have touched your spirits and set against the backdrop of your very real lives in all different, you got teenagers, you got young kids, chaos, we got it all, right? I love it. And so thank you. We've got lots of people listening. Lots will listen to this interview. And hopefully people will just hear about, like, there's some really impacting conversation and ministry and prayer that we've been able to have here, that we can share this around. And I just hope it's a great new season of incredible experiences of leading worship that you guys can have starting in later June, and press on for this new season. So thank you.
Big thank you to PraiseCharts. Jody mentioned it. You guys are providing such a blessing to us worship pastors all over the planet. So thank you for what you do. It's awesome.
Yeah, we're definitely right in behind you on this project. As we're doing this interview here together, and in other ways, and we've got all the charts, and we will make the piano vocals and all of that as the songs kind of flow out in the next season. And so good stuff. Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you who've been listening in. This is Avalon Worship, and you can get the whole album. I think it all just went live on Friday. Isn't that right? That the whole thing is like brand new on Spotify and in PraiseCharts. So glad to have you guys. And so this is Avalon Worship and Ryan Dahl with PraiseCharts Live. Thanks for joining us today.